I just bumped it off, so we're just gonna go with it. This is for Libra for mid-September to mid-October. It's your birthday reading. I figured I'd do one tarot card reading here. For you. Sorry guys, I had like already talked a ton, and you know, I just wanted to make sure you could hear me, and so I turned the volume up and I bumped. Actually, this is not the way I like to do this. Gotta make room for the final outcome here. If I could put them down one more card, I would, because I like I know it's not traditional, but I do like the final cards to all line up in a row. Just makes it more interesting. Oh, okay, so we have two cards for the outcome. Okay. All right. Here we go. Okay, so at the center we have the Sun and the Ten of Cups. You can't get much better than that. And overall, your entire reading is really beautiful because I have two of the most powerful positive cards, three of the most powerful cards in the deck. I consider the Fool card a very powerful card, and I know a lot of people would say, oh no, not really, but it really is, because it's starting about a new beginning. It's a total new beginning. And the World card also denotes the same thing of closing a chapter and starting a new major cycle in your life. Having dealt with a huge spiritual lesson along your personal journey. So we've come full circle, really, because we have the start here of the beginning of the Fool's journey. And then with the World card, we're coming in at the very last card of the Major Arcana. So we've done the whole Major Arcana journey, and we're coming out kind of like a whole new soul in a sense, because we've achieved some kind of ascension, enlightenment. There's been clarity and understanding of the universal laws and how to go about navigating the world and being a spiritual being within it, and learning how to balance those two parts of ourselves and accomplish what we came here to do. At least one big lesson of what we came here to do. So it's no easy feat. The Hermit card is also a huge spiritual card. So these are all major attainments. The Hermit card does denote a time of reclusivity in order to gain more insight on what we're spiritually trying to grasp. So he goes off on a pilgrimage of sorts to find himself, and because he does this, he ends up finding others who either need his help, his light in the darkness. It's coming through a time of a dark night of the soul and having found some spiritual, what would you call it? Spiritual guru-ness to you. You've achieved a certain level of spiritual ascension, and that's why, you know, I think that they did you know, they picture him levitating, because there is a sense of elevated perspective, even when it's not considered the most popular thing to do. You going off and doing your own thing will help bring you to where you need to be, and will help others find you along your journey, along their journey as well, because your soul purpose is being shined outward for others to see in a dark time, in a time where things aren't maybe so easily understood, or you might be feeling misunderstood. But the sage here, the hermit, is a sage, really. He's very, very wise. There's a wisdom to you. There's a lot of achievement here. The Hierophant, I mean, this is like a reading from, it's just crazy. We've got the Hierophant, which is the divine order, the rules, legal and learning systems. This is the steps we take to achieve some sort of traditional, spiritual, and or educational achievement. We follow a path. This is an ordained path. This is something that's considered a formal education or a formal set of learning that has been put together. So here we have you having this blissful happiness radiating from you at the core of your reading. And what's crossing you is an experience of complete emotional fulfillment and attainment of some sort of big dream, some sort of happy family, some sort of just, this has brought your family happiness, this has brought you happiness, this has brought you to a place where you no longer want because you have what you've wanted. And you feel very emotionally stable within that, because you have built this dream up and brought it to fulfillment in the tangible senses. Because the sun is a very expressive sign, right? It gives life to things. And water, without water, we wouldn't be able to sustain life, right? So not only have you given this your passion and your drive, but you've emotionally tended to it. Excuse me, I'm going to drink a sip of coffee. Something to do with fall here. I know we're coming into fall in the northern hemisphere. So people like to, say, well, that's pretty obvious. Not really, because I'm seeing the Pentacles card, the Six of Pentacles, above the Ten of Pentacles and the Sun as falling leaves. For some reason, I just see it as like a timely matter. This fall is a really important time for you, Libra. It is your birthday, of course, so we'll give it that. And the World card being here is a big thing having to do with birthdays, because it's pretty much the card of being born, you know? The Fool is being born and then taking our first steps, maybe. And the World card we can see as like this is being born. Our soul is recycled through another. I know you might not believe in reincarnation, but this is the story of the tarot. So she is being put forth into a new world. She has a new pair of eyes after learning what she's learned. She has to start over again. So anyway, huge happy thing going on. And what's helping this situation is that there's success and you're emotionally fulfilled by it. This could literally be getting your dream job. This could be getting your dream relationship. This could be having a baby. This could be any of those things, because the sun denotes children a lot of the time. Usually the typical version of the sun card is a baby riding a horse and going through a field, a sunlit field. So there's a freedom here. There is a playfulness here. Leo and Pisces and Saturn are here. So because Pisces and Saturn are here, we have a huge undertaking of taking something that is etheric, that is not solid, and somehow finding the resources to build it in the tangible world. This is no easy feat. This takes a lot of practice and time and energy and love that goes into that. So whatever it is that you've been doing, it is paying off, and now you're being able to see the results, and it's making you ecstatic, whatever it is. So you are aware that there's a give and take right now to all things, and just like when you were down and you received from friends or family members, or when you won that bit of money in the lotto, or there's a paying it forward, a give and take here, and you were very aware that sort of energy of giving and receiving, reciprocity, universal balance of how things work is kind of playing out in your life right now. You see things as being fair, and you may be considering giving somebody some help financially at this time, because you seem to be doing very well, or you will be doing very well, and you're being discerning of where that goes, where your generosity will go. There's a generosity of spirit here as well. There's some kind of the winds of change coming in and showing you just what happiness looks like. And there's this kind of give and take from the universe, and it comes in within its own nature. It kind of flows into your life. I see this as like kind of leaves blowing in onto your stoop on a fall day. Like, it's time for you to get this harvest, or this, it's time for you now. So there is this kind of scales-like situation. I do get the Six of Pentacles being a very Libra card, because it is about balance. And there is that infinitive kind of energy is not created or nor destroyed type of mentality when it comes to this card. So there is balance. You're being very balanced in your approach to things, and you're taking a conscious effort to make sure things stay balanced within a relationship, within your relationship to yourself and your children, your newborn, whatever, your new job that you love. You're trying to not squash anything with over smother things with happiness, but you're also trying to make sure that you're divvying out the attention, you're divvying out what appropriately needs to go where it needs to go in order to keep the momentum and the happiness and the success flowing in. Now, in the past, you started off taking a risk. You didn't know where it would take you, but you felt a childlike wonderment, some sort of, there was a push, a gut feeling that you should take this risk. And it made you feel lighthearted and, jolly. And whether you were looked upon as a fool by others in making this decision or going for what you wanted to go for, it didn't matter, because you knew that deep down it was time and that you needed to make this decision to move forward in your life. Take this risk and see where it went. And you did. And because you did, it seems like you in the future will be teaching others the ways of your wisdom in some way, shape, or form. So what you don't know right now is that you are being prepared to be a teacher. You are maybe learning something very special about what you're doing right now. And there's something, I guess it's about attaining this success has led you to the point of being able to teach others how to do for themselves as well in this regard. So I don't know what exactly it is that this is speaking of. Only you can know that for yourself. But it seems like there's a value and a worth here. There is a knowing your value in a situation. So not underselling yourself, making sure things are equal and get equal give and take. What you have to offer to and bring to the table is just as important as what other people are bringing to the table, because you know your value, okay? And you're willing to make sure that you receive as much as you give. It has to be equal and not necessarily tooth for tooth. I'm talking about like when somebody can give more, they can give more. When someone can't, but they give a little, and that's a lot for them, this is what I'm speaking of. So there is something that you might have been teaching somebody else how to do that you might be doing at a sliding scale. You might have started teaching something in the past, and now you've developed some sort of systematic approach to it, and it's being met with great success. Also, the Hierophant can deal with the father, so the parental figure, the leader of the family. You might be not seeing yourself as a leader at this time, but in fact that you are a leader within your own sphere, within your environment or environments. You are a leader. People follow the steps that you take to learn your ways. And I see the Hierophant there with the stairs going up. There's the ascension process, a learning of the give and take of things, the balance of things. And in the future, I see what light the Hierophant has. is out. It's as if the sun has set, but you still carry that light within you. So whatever you've learned from somebody else, you didn't know you were learning for somebody else, you have taken it and are now going to use it to brighten up others and your own world. There is some sort of spiritual details, some sort of systematic approach, because the Hermit is Virgo. It's a sign of Virgo, and it's the detailed, oriented kind of loner to find clarity, loner going recluse to gain insight on a matter or a philosophy on something in life. And it seems like it's more of what I'm seeing here is like you've done the traditional thing. Maybe you didn't know you were doing something traditional, and you've learned something through the traditional steps. You didn't know you were learning it that way, but maybe you got a download of some kind, or somebody, you had seen a few videos on something on YouTube, and you went the traditional route of learning something. You, in the future, will be taking what you learned and learning, or you will learn how to apply it in a new way. So it's like learning the system so that you can create your own system. Learning a system so that you can do, like when you're doing a math problem and you get, this is how you do the work, show your work at school, and you do the work the way the teacher wants you to do it, and you don't really get it that way, and other people might not be getting it that way. There is something that you are going to be doing, that you are going to be applying. There is an application of knowledge here of what you learned in a traditional format or setting, and you will be redeveloping it, going off and really getting clear about how it all works, and you will be able to show and share this with others who may seek a new method, a new kind of scientific method, if you will, for approaching this subject matter. And I say this because Virgo is very analytical, and so scientific method would be something that would be the Hierophant, but it also would be the Hermit. Mad scientist out in his lab following tradition, but then he mixes it up, right? It's like Jack Skellington with The Nightmare Before Christmas, trying all these intricate experiments out there, trying to figure out what it means. Having a base set of knowledge and applying what we know in order to achieve even greater enlightenment and find our way through anything, or an easier way to look at things and understand them. Now, your advice is to stay clear of other people's drama in their life. Don't involve yourself with other people's cataclysmic, dramatic crap this month period. This is your birthday month. Shouldn't be having to deal with anybody else's crap, right? This is a very important and pivotal time for you. I have not seen this much major arcana. I mean, I've shuffled this deck like hundreds of times. I've done readings for myself while I wasn't feeling well, many times. So this is been shuffled multiple times, and I have not seen so many major arcana. I mean, we have the Fool, we have the Hierophant, we have the Hermit, we have the Sun, we have the World, the Tower, We have Temperance. I mean, this is a crazy reading. It's beautiful, but it's just very, very intense. There's a lot of divine cardinal type energy here. Granted, you are a cardinal sign, Libra, but this is like the universe stepping in and saying, nope, we got this. We got this. We've seen the work that you did. We know what you've been up to, and we are going to put some major key moments here for you. Some milestones here. Magical moments that, you know, maybe you've gotten yourself here to this point, you've created up to this point, but, you know, these are things that the universe gives us to deal with that we don't get to choose. Major arcana are like things that come up in our lives that are lessons that we didn't get to choose. They are just there. The minor are the more mundane, like more changeable things for us that we can work with in our life. But this many major arcana, this is a fated time for you, Libra. This is a very fated time for you. So don't involve yourself in other people's drama and crap. You got a lot of soul searching to do. And whatever stuff comes up with other people is only going to distract you from your own insights. You also could be watching somebody's drama unfold this month. It could just happen in front of your face. And because that happens, I want you to take the sidelines. Not, you know, obviously, if you can help somebody, it's always very nice to help people, right? But I want you to not take that energy on as your own, because you have a lot of work you're doing internally right now. And that would be something that would be detrimental to your spiritual evolution. Because right now you're developing a way of teaching others how to find their inner hope and their light. Something you're working on, whether it is actually like a tangible thing, like you're going to school and learning something that you want to reapply in a different way in your life, or it's more of a spiritual thing. There's something that you're doing now that's super important to your growth, to your evolution. And I want you to make that a very important detail of your life. Other people will have some kind of situation arise. They may start it for themselves, like more of a dramatic cycle. Also, other people might be viewing you as having your moment in the sun, really, because I see this girl walking through this portal, being kind of reborn, having achieved some great feat, and have now moving on to the next level. And people might feel that you'll just feel like you're being watched. People are watching your success. They're seeing you as achieving something great, being successful, ending one major cycle of your life and starting another. And this might come at a tower for them. So just be sure that you don't take on anybody else's energy. Now, if you are doing any kind of energy healing, because I do see a lot going on with this light, I see so much. I see the twilight of the Fool. I see dusk, excuse me, it's probably dusk of the Fool. And then I see the twilight of the Hermit. And the World card seems, you can see the energy that's being brought down upon her from the universe. And then in the Tower card, it's almost as if the electrical current is coming up through the floor because it's upside down. So there is some kind of energetic, intensive moments this month you're going to be feeling. And there's going to be people that are probably going to be draining you, or their situations will be kind of draining to you. But I see you being able to protect yourself from these people because you have this boundary up. Just, protect your energy. Don't give yourself away. It's a very important time for you. Okay, so now that's how others are seeing you. Your hopes. You hope to make new plans, to start to set new plans into motion, to find other key passions, other key pivotal inspirations in order to start along a new journey after having completed a major, huge, very long cycle for yourself, okay? Because we went from the Fool to the World. This speaks of a whole tarot cycle of the major arcana, starting with the first card and ending with the last card. So this has taken a very long time for you to get here. And now you almost feel kind of naked in a sense, because you're like, okay, so now what? What do I do now? Where do I go now? I mean, I've learned my lessons. I've done all this, and I have what I wanted, but where do I go with it? Like, there's almost this waiting for the next big thing to come through. Maybe learning about what you want to do next, learning more about the world around you so that you can find what's meaningful in this next chapter for you, what your next chapter should start with, what it should be. And so you're going through sort of this evolution of spirit where it's as if an empty nest syndrome, really. Like, if you are a mother and your children have finally gone off to school this year and you now are alone at home and you don't have kids living full time with you and your whole life has changed, what do you do with yourself? Same thing as if you were in college for 4 or 5 years, 6 years, and now you're starting a residency and your whole life has changed again, and you're in a new town and you took a new job, and you have a whole new beginning upon you right now. There's so much that you're going to be starting that's new. Don't let the drama of others inhibit these new steps you're taking or confuse you about how you feel about them. Don't let peer pressure involve in this situation, because you have some major hitters. This is a huge thing for you, whatever this is. This could be you finally ended one huge difficult chapter of your life that took up years and years of time, and now you're able to get into your soul purpose. So this Two of Wands time, what you're hoping for is that you will find what you're looking for. You will find the purpose of it all, or your purpose now after this huge, achievement, successful moment, climactic part of your life. The results of everything. I see there being a lot of alone time in your future. And this is not a negative thing. I see you getting quite a lot done internally during this time. You might feel very bored. You might be like, what do I do now? Or you could be welcoming this boredom because it's been a long time since you have had a moment of peace in your life. But there's a need to, there's almost a fun-seeking kind of energy here. There's a playful energy here. We're kind of trying to heal some type of boredom in our life as well. We might be feeling a little bit lonely. There's a lot of solitude here, but there's also a lot of self-learning. There's taking the time to heal oneself, to teach oneself, to really get clear on who we are in our own energy. So whether you just achieved some major happy victory in your life, and maybe you didn't bring a bunch of people along with you for the ride, or maybe they had to step out for this part of the cycle for you, you're going to be getting in touch with the more intimate parts of yourself. You're going to be healing parts of yourself that maybe you haven't really given the time of day to. You're going to be learning how to create emotional and spiritual balance within yourself, tempering your own emotions, but also finding balance in your life financially. So you might have been working on balancing your material world for quite some time, and you've learned how to do that, and you know how to do that, but now it's time for you to actually learn what makes your heart sing, learn who you are at the core level, what you came here to do, what inspires you, you know, because there's a balance between inspiration and having the patience to find it here. Like, they're trying new things here. There's a childlike wonder starting over. And if you are in the healing professions, this is a great omen for you. Your spirit guides as well are here. I mean, the Four of Cups is emotional stability, right? It's emotional stability that sometimes doesn't look so attractive. It can be kind of boring. That's why I kind of always see her as like, this is being intrigued by our own emotional homeostasis. This is finding happiness in what we're doing and being alone as well. But knowing that we're never alone because we're connected to something higher, and we have our door open. You know, people can come and go as they please. So it's leaving room for flow, like the Six of Pentacles. The Hermit leaves room for flow. He allows people to walk up the stairs and speak to him and learn from him and gain wisdom that he has to offer. He's learned it from the Hierophant, and now he's taking it and kind of being that role model, that example out in the world. And he's very quiet. He doesn't need to be loud about it. He does, you know. So Temperance being a card of time, and the Four of Cups also being a card of time, and we've waited, and we're dissatisfied maybe sometimes with how things are emotionally making us feel. But we go off on our own and get quiet in order to find out what does make us tick, you know? And Temperance is the card of alchemy. Taking what we thought was one element in our life and trying to change it into a more ideal situation. Trying to understand what would make it better and what would heal things, what metals would be more healing for our bodies, for our soul. Temperance being an angelic card, so it also being a spiritual guide from the other side. It's the patience virtue coming in while we seek emotional satisfaction, to learn, because it is a card of Sagittarius. We are learning the philosophy of our own emotional wants and balance and stability. So what makes us emotionally feel secure? We might not feel emotionally secure with being alone. But it doesn't seem like we are really, because in the center of your reading, you're crossed by this major happy attainment, emotional attainment. There's emotional attainment here. And you're sharing that with others around you. So maybe in the future, you're maybe being a little more discerning about who you'll be giving your time to, because you'll have less of it. It will have to be really looked at. I see money and time being important in the future. And you're going to be working on getting clear about what creates or harmonizes your emotional world. So the Four of Cups being, this could be a home, most literally. So you might be getting your first house. You might be painting it up, because I do see a lot of colors here. And I see the Temperance card being two bottles of liquid, you know, usually flowing in and out of the context of the card is usually, you know, pouring of liquids into one another. There is some plans for the future here now being made. What's going to bring you emotional satisfaction in the future? What do you have to look forward to now? That's what you're advised to kind of focus on, is, and your advice is to kind of bear witness to the changes that are going on around you and other people's lives, because that might give you some clues as to what the next cycle is going to look like for you, or maybe there's some purpose in that, some synchronicity in that. All right, Libra. I hope you enjoyed your reading. Happy birthday. And I will see you next time. Bye.